Are you a sinner? Shall one of you seek redemption? Thy must go through the path of absolution. Hello and welcome people to Mortal Sin, a first-person roguelike game where you have to pay off your sins by massacring other individuals for the rest of your life. Very fun game. There is a lot of blood and gore in the game, which has been the biggest reason for most of my deaths, because I phase out to the realm of destruction and pleasure whenever I spill too much blood that I forget enemies could attack, or traps which have damaged my mental state worse than a hot female being. No offense to the developer, but could you kindly live happily ever after? Why would you put a goddamn sow in the middle of the corridor? Let me not forget the jump scares too. They're goofy, but why would you stack them? Anyways, the art style is dank as fuck. I feel like I'm going through the best acid trip in the world, and if you're a pussy and don't like it, you can change it or make it even worse. But I will tell you one thing, you have to be careful because each level is filled with many traps and not paying attention for 1 second can get you killed. I've died multiple times by my own stupidity and I get a nerf malfunction, then I quit the game, but get back at it again because I'm addicted to pain. There are numerous classes, each with specific abilities and weapons. The first one you start with is the Struggler. His special ability is to become invisible. He can pretty much use any weapon in the game, but to get more weapons, ladies and gentlemen, you have to unlock them, and that's where progression comes. You have a big roadmap which tells you what you can unlock and displays missions which you have to do, but about them later. One thing I'm going to add is you see these letters and lines. That's your path. And if you complete dungeon first, you can't do it again. And you have cave and forest left. If you complete cave first, then you have dungeon and forest left. So you can complete each level first, but I didn't know that. And I learned about it 20 hours into the game and was wondering what are all these unlocks and why can't I get them. So just look from left to right of the levels. It was quite confusing for me, but I'm retarded, so makes sense. With each completion of a stage, you unlock weapons, abilities and some permanent upgrades for your next runs. There are 3 levels, each with 5 stages and a boss fight, and depending on the order you start, they will vary in complexity and difficulty. The first level is Dungeon, which is a dungeon styled level. There you will meet your first enemies, the normal dude, fireball guy, hooded man and armored guy. Throughout the levels you'll find dead men which drop weapons and chests which drop armor. Every weapon and armor have different stats and abilities, but I main for is speed, because some weapons are slow and I die of old age until it reaches the enemy. Plus, speed is very OP with larger, slower weapons, and well, genuinely with every other weapon. There are a lot of abilities available. The ones I made for are Soul Cleave, which sends a magical spinning axe, Mana Shoot, which reduces my damage taken by half, and Sin Ward, which are crosses rotating around you. But keep in mind, each ability consumes the durability of the armor which is assigned to, so your mana pots will be drained pretty quickly, which repair your gear, and you have vitality pots which replenish your health. You can replenish them by getting essences, which drop from enemies or from breaking objects. But there are skills which you can obtain in your runs which can increase the number of maximum pots you have and the durability of your equipment. Skills can be earned through skill statues which spawn randomly in some stages, or at the start of some stages you have to choose 1 skill out of 3. Or there are elite enemies which drop special loot boxes that will give you a skill. There is also a realm which you can enter that spawns randomly in some stages. It's like a parkour segment, but if you manage to fall into the void, one of your equipment pieces gets destroyed, and I fucking modded every time when that happens, cause for some reason, randomly my guy just doesn't jump, and I fall to my death. Besides skills, there are big purple orbs which grant you buffs, but at the cost of a curse. The curses can be brutal, and the one I hate the most is the Immortal Pursuer, which scares the shit out of me. The longer you stay on a level, a pursuer will appear, who will chase you down. A random noise plays and the screen changes. That's when I shit myself. But you can remove curses by going to one of these statues and paying coins. The more levels you complete, the more expensive it gets. At the end of each dungeon you have to defeat a boss with an army with him. For the dungeon you have to fight a big demon daddy. The second area is the cave, which adds this annoying mechanic where when an enemy dies it drops a big red puddle that drains your equipment's durability. Where when I was at the last level of the game, the big demon was red, which means he can drop the puddles. I was geared with the best armor I can get and was full of confidence. And 1 puddle just destroyed my equipment and my self-esteem. so I cried with the shotgun in my mouth. And the fucking axis positioning on this level is pure annoyance. Sadly, unlike the forest and dungeon levels where you go down some stairs, whenever you press all of the plates in the stage, which unlocks the next one, in cave you drop down and everything you missed is gone. You're fucked. The last boss for this level is some behemoth with long ass arms and legs. The third level is the forest, and in my humblest opinion is a dog shit level. And let me tell you why. The traps on this level are purposely positioned where you get fucked every time. And cause I turn my brain off, I die to some fucking random ass soul in a fucking random ass race. The last boss for this level is some big yeti which sends only blockable projectiles. These are all the levels which unlock the final boss level, the Maw of Sin, in which you have to fight through 2 wave stages and finally fight the big boy. Tips for him: always spam block, cause you can die easily by his attacks. I did the mistake of only attacking him and I fucking disappeared from this world. And also, watch out with the flying skulls. After you defeat him, the run doesn't end. You get a random curse and a buff and you can go again. But levels are much harder and you get better equipment. You unlock a harder mod for the game called Path of Torment, which is the same as the normal one, but you have to do everything again and it's much harder. But this is not the true ending. If you want to go through the real ending, you have to beat the trial for resolve 3 times. After you defeat a level, you can do the trial. After you complete all 3 trials, at the boss battle, you can enter the true final battle, where you have to fight hordes of enemies. By getting the true ending, you will receive empowering orbs, which increase your stats, and a stack of monies. Now the missions. There is a character called Elena, which will give you missions to complete. And by hovering over the missions in the roadmap, it will show you what you need to do and your reward. Avoid the do not take any damage mission and the keeping modifier mission. Reason is I take damage even if I'm careful. For the modifier, well, I can't. I either kill the enemies with 1 hit or it's impossible. And when I fail a mission like this ones, I become a dog and bark. Plus, she's the reason I get mad at the game because I have terminal dementia and forget that I have missions and just fail. Anyways, the rewards you can get from her are upgrading your equipment, getting a different powerful equipment, maximizing your skills, getting an innate skill which gets removed after you complete a run, and money. But she has levels and you unlock more of her story and she looks different with each level. And when you max her, you can get a very good sword for 1 run, but it's useless for me because I can't parry. The only reason I can complete the parry missions is because I stand in one corner of the map and spam right click until I get one. Now back to the classes. The Struggler was a transition for me to talk about the gameplay. The Monk made me love hands as weapons, and he can't use weapons. He is by far, I would say, the one I had the most fun playing. As a special ability, he does an uppercut. I don't personally like Paladin because he doesn't feel as good as the other classes and you rely more on blocking and parrying. Mage is my second most favorite class because he has the most customizable loadout in the game, and he is the first class with which I beat the game, and he is very overpowered. But that's something else. He has blood-sucking, fire, big magical spear and skulls. His spells feel very good. Berserker is the Giga Chat, the big dick guy. He uses only big weapons which are slower, but combined with speed are shredding everything, and he is the first character with which I started doing combos. If you go to the menu and enable shuffle combos at the top right, you get rewards the more combos you do. At 8 combos you get a permanent stat boost and you can put the combo bar somewhere on your screen. So the whole time I was playing Berserker or Paladin, I was just looking at my combo bar and smashing every button, which almost resulted in my death. The Reaper is my third most favorite because the cycle is very fast and too good, and every time you dash and attack you release the Soul Cliff ability. You have it permanently, and I've been clearing levels very easily. Only thing you need to watch out about him is that when you kill an enemy from far away, they release skulls at you, so be careful. Speaking of experience, Duelist uses only 2-handed weapons, but the one I love is the poking swords. They're quite OP, or if you're a weeb, you can use the katanas, but they're dog shit. Hunter uses only spears and he can insta-kill when you headshot, but he's not for me, too slow. Vampire is quite fun, but not as good as the Monk. The only reason why I don't like Vampire is because I lose health every time I do a Power Strike, which is an attack after you dash, and I do it every time. Martyr is for masochists. You start with 6 curses and your potions have reduced effects, and your ability is you deal more damage the more curses you have. Gladiator is the same as Berserker, but he can use all melee weapons. The only difference is Berserker doesn't get any magic or vital essence, and Gladiator doesn't get abilities on weapons and armor. Warlock is absolute dog shit. How can you make my most favorite class in all of games that dog shit? I can only cast spells when I parry. Bitch, I can't parry for shit. Stalker is the best class in the game, to be exact, the most OP class in the game. You can do Wave Blade, which sends magical blade projectiles, Manifest Weapon, which sends axes for every 0.5x modifier, Inner Fire, which sends fireballs when you kick, and Echo, which doubles all of your spells, including the one he has. Yes, he can't Whirlwind, which means he can't spin, and yes, no magic essence spawns, which I just realized after writing this. He's that good, I didn't even know, and his special ability is to vanish for some seconds. He prefers fast weapons, which means you are unstoppable. I have been speedrunning through levels with him, crushing bosses in seconds, and the most devastating deaths I have been having. You can unlock him only when you defeat the game under 30 minutes, which is very easy. I did it with the Reaper. Hoarder is quite dog shit. He's more powerful the more gold you have, but you lose gold when hit, and I'm quite bad at not getting hit. Enigma is the final class, and you unlock him after you beat the game with 6 different classes. You get random stats, skills, special ability and weapons at the start of a run, and enemies have random health as well. He's more like a gambler class. Sometimes you get good stuff, sometimes you don't. It's pretty fun playing with him, but he's not as good as the Stalker. When making this video, the game got a huge update, an overhaul to its level designs. The developer did an amazing job. The new levels look sick, and he fucking fixed the not being able to return to the past stages. Thank fucking god. But missions still fail if you leave. As per usual, that's everything from the game. I really enjoyed playing it, and it was one of these games which I thought about when I was not playing it. During my gym session, I was just thinking how I can beat the game, and I haven't had that feeling from 3 months. I might have had some big rage moments or more like despair, but that's because I'm stupid and my brain sometimes malfunctions. As well, for some reason, the recordings for this game are heavy. I don't know why it does that, but the short 50-second recording is 1.5 gigabytes, and a 2-hour one is more than 100 gigabytes. I have no space in my main folder. I recommend buying it. It's cheap and it's made by one guy, so give the man some support. The next video might come later than expected, because the game has not released yet, and there probably will be a lot of content in it. I'll be streaming it on my Twitch at twitch.tv Busovman. It will be in the description below. I stream the games I'm going to review and usually stream whenever I'm taking a break from editing, so you better go and follow. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a nice day and be wary of the next one.